It usually starts small. A toddler says, "I want juice," but doesn't get it fast enough. So next time, they say it louder and louder until it turns into full-blown whining. And guess what? It works. You give in. Not because you're weak, but because you're exhausted. But here's the part no one tells you. That one small moment of giving in might be the reason your toddler keeps whining. In this video, I'll show you the one mistake that accidentally teaches toddlers to whine and the 3-step strategy to stop it before it becomes their go-to communication style. Why toddlers whine in the first place? Whining is not just noisites, a communication shortcut. At around 1.5 to 3 years old, toddlers are developing independence, but their emotional regulation and verbal skills are still catching up. So when they're tired, overstimulated, or frustrated, they default to what gets a fast reaction: whining. Unfortunately, the louder the whine, the quicker the parent's response. And this creates a loop. Whine, get what I want, repeat. The mistake parents make without realizing. Here's the mistake: responding to whining by giving in just to keep the peace. You're doing it to avoid a meltdown, especially when you're in public or running low on energy. But here's what your toddler learns: if I whine, I win. Even if it happens once or twice a week, it reinforces the behavior. The 3-step strategy that actually works. So, what do you do instead of giving in? This isn't about ignoring your child or being harsh. It's about teaching them that whining isn't necessary because they already have better tools to get what they want. Let's break it down into a practical 3-step strategy that actually works, especially for toddlers aged 1.5 to 4. Step 1. Name the behavior calmly and clearly. Instead of reacting emotionally or getting frustrated, calmly identify what's happening. Say something like, "That's a whining voice. I want to help, but I need to hear your regular voice." Why this works? You're not shaming them. You're just labeling the behavior. You're also modeling emotional regulation. You're calm, so they start to mirror calmness. Avoid saying, "Stop whining." It triggers defensiveness and frustration. Instead, reframe it as a skill-building moment. Step 2. Wait for the reset. This is the hardest part. Here's the truth. Toddlers don't like to wait, and neither do we. But the power is in the pause. Say your part and wait. You might feel uncomfortable. You might want to fill the silence or rush the conversation. But don't jump in. Give them a few seconds, even up to a minute, to try again with a calm voice. If they escalate, stay neutral and repeat. "I'm listening" when you use your regular voice. Why this works? It teaches cause and effect. It prevents them from using whining as a shortcut. During the reset moment, don't bribe or distract. That just shifts the behavior. It doesn't teach communication. Step 3. Reward the right voice instantly, even for small wins. This step seals the deal. The moment your toddler asks calmly, even if it's just one word, acknowledge and respond. Say, "Thank you for asking so nicely. I love how you used your calm voice, that was helpful." Then, if it's reasonable, give them what they asked for. Why this works? It trains the brain to repeat behaviors that earn attention and rewards. It builds emotional intelligence. When I speak with respect, I get heard. Use a warm smile or even a high five. It doesn't have to be over the top, but it should feel rewarding to them. What you're really teaching: you're not just stopping whining. You're teaching patience, respectful communication, emotional regulation, all wrapped in a moment that feels like just another Tuesday at home. And here's the beautiful part. The more often you apply this 3-step strategy, the fewer whining episodes you'll experience. Why? Because your toddler now has a map for what works and whining isn't on it anymore. What if the whining doesn't stop? Some toddlers whine out of habit, especially if it's been reinforced for months. In that case, you'll need to stay consistent for 1 to 2 weeks before you see a shift. The whining might get worse before it gets better. This is called an extinction burst. But stay the course. If you're consistent, your toddler will learn. This doesn't work anymore. And they'll begin using more respectful communication instead. You're not a bad parent if your toddler whines. You're human. But now you know the trepanned you're equipped to change the cycle. Because every time you teach your child that calm communication works, you're not just ending the whining, you're raising a child who feels heard without having to scream for it. I know it's gonna work for you, and we are here to share more parenting tips. Parenting is a journey, and Parenting Vault channel is here to make the journey easier. Subscribe to get more tips and parenting hacks.